All right, good morning, guys. Today is Thursday, May 1st, 2014. And Todd is still on vacation, so I want to go ahead and knock out a video for you today. And I ran a scan um, yesterday, and then reran it again this morning. And NOV popped up on my watch list, National Oil Well. Double inside bars forming at support. We had earnings actually on this day right there. We had earnings on, what day is that? The 28th. So earnings is over with. The reaction, obviously, the market had just pulled back right into support, and it's just testing, okay? But look where we're at. We're right at support. We had an extreme upside running pattern here. We blasted right through. We pretty much opened at support and then moved down to the next support level. Okay, guys? So you've got a potential long trade set up in here. And in the 1K a day premium video, I went over how to use a smaller trading account to potentially trade this because, you're looking at a $79 stock. So I went over which call option and, profit targets, what you're looking for, where to place your stop, and all that. And then actually in Think or Swim, I walk kind of through how to set the conditional order up so you don't have to be there. You can just set the order, forget it, and then concentrate on something else. Okay, so if y'all are interested, check out the 1K a day. Todd, again, if you watched the video from yesterday, I went over it. Todd calls out swing trades, and it does very well in the swing trade calls. Not every trade's a winner, unfortunately. That's the reality of trading, but does very well in his swing trading as well. Okay, so NOV, and then also real quick DLPH. This is a trade setup that popped up yesterday. You had earnings back here on this day, so earnings is over with. We got under 3 months, and the market had pulled back into support. You see right in here we had some prior resistance over here. Right in here we had prior resistance, okay, becoming new support all through here. Okay, market, you got a new highs, okay. You got a retest. I would expect some type of bounce in here because this is major support. Okay, so we would expect some type of bounce. Even a 50% move back up to retest this high, you would expect at least that minimum. So yesterday, actually there was a trade setup that triggered yesterday right in here around 66.75. The 62.5 call options were trading at 520 by then, and then I checked them earlier, and they were still kind of at break even, but they had moved up to like 540 by 510 or $5. So we start to get some follow through in here. We might be able to get 50 cents on the option price in the option move. So at least for that first profit target, and then if you're holding out for a second profit target, you can take off a third, a half or 2/3 up in this area. So I went over that in the premium video, and what I'd like to do today, guys, is focus a little on using the internals. Y'all probably are familiar with Todd's 30-minute breakout strategy that he does on the E-mini S&P in the morning. And what I'd like to talk to you about is, one of the ways that you can filter that out is by using the market internals to kind of gauge what's going on in the, under the hood in the markets, okay? And, for example, today the internals said get short on a 30-minute break. Yesterday they said don't do it, okay? And here I want to point just a few things out. What I'm looking at in here, I've got the E-mini S&P day session chart in here, okay? I've got the S&P advanced decline line over here, the NYSE tick, okay? And then over here, I've got the continuous 24-hour chart, okay? I was just looking at that for longer term support and resistance. And then the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is something to keep in mind and definitely something worth looking at in the morning. Okay, so and now actually you've got a short setup going on in the Nasdaq or on the S&P right in here. Okay, but one thing about getting short in here, you need to be careful. Look at the Nasdaq. As this market's pulled back, the Nasdaq is sitting at the highs. Okay, so shorting this right in here is not one of the highest it's not real favorable. Okay, you've got the internals pushing lower, but shorting that right in there right now is not real favorable. So just keep your eye on that. You want to manage that trade. If you do take the short, what you could do is look for a pattern. And right now there's actually an inside bar forming there right now. So you can look for a pattern in there and trade that accordingly and manage that trade. But this morning on a 30-minute break, here's your first 30-minute low right there. Okay, and as this market was retesting this 30-minute low, okay, here's your 30-minute high. What you're looking for is what's going on. Okay, what's the Nasdaq doing at that point? Well, at that point, the Nasdaq was trading right around in here. Okay, so you didn't really have a clear sign in the Nasdaq, but what are the internals doing? Look at this, guys. As this market put in, we opened here. Okay, as this market put in new highs, the internals actually showed negative divergence or bearish divergence. Okay, and then once this market retested this low like this, what you want to keep an eye on is are the internals also pushing lower? Okay, so as this market tested this low, see how the internals were also pushing lower? This is actually a really good setup because you wouldn't be looking to sell this at 74, one tick below. You'd be looking to sell it at 73.75, remember? Because you want to look to sell it on 25s or 75s on a breakout. Right? Or buy it on 25 to 75s on a breakout. So you'll be looking at 73.75 here. The market hit 74, bounced back up, and then immediately pretty much was rejected. Look at this. On this move back up, they got a very little bounce in the internals. Okay? And then the market pushed lower. And then the other thing, too, while the NYSE tick is kind of moving sideways, though, as the price action also moved lower, the NYSE tick was also confirming. Now, one of the things about the NYSE tick is the NYSE tick will develop divergences left and right all the time. So you want to be careful on relying solely on NYSE tick divergence. They're more powerful in the advanced decline line. Okay. So we'll look at yesterday too, but I just wanted to point this out. So that 30-minute break would have been short there. Your first profit objective would have been hit, and if you're looking for 2 points, that was hit down there at 81.75 before this market reversed. Okay, so now keep your eye on this market because it's moving up now. And see, this is what I was talking about. See how now we're moving up. So you really the Nasdaq and the internals aren't really confirming shorting this in here. Okay, even though we got new lows, it's pulled back mid to upper, the internals just aren't reflecting that. Okay, there's something else going on. It's the internals are bullish. So this is just a few larger stocks pushing this down, but overall the market's slightly bullish. Okay, especially look at this Nasdaq. So see how it's pushing new highs. And now let's look at yesterday, because yesterday the market and the internals had pretty much indicated, hey, you don't want to be selling this thing on the breakout like it, and today it indicated to go ahead and get short on the breakout. Look at yesterday, what's going on in here. All right, let me set up, okay, hold on, let me set up the Nasdaq. I got to move this over to the Nasdaq on the Nasdaq too and set up yesterday. There we go. All right, what I want to do is on the Nasdaq, draw your fibs, guys, on 62 of the day of your initial range. 62, draw your fibs from high to low on the initial range from high to low, okay, on the Nasdaq. Always pay attention to what's going on the Nasdaq in the morning. And draw your fibs here on the mini S&P because we're kind of focused in this area, okay? here is your 30-minute low right in here. Okay, and the market traded down through there. If you were just going in here blindly, you'd be looking to short this, okay, only to be pretty much selling the low of the day. Okay, but I want to point out, and I pointed this out in the E-mini chart yesterday to students, that look what's going on here. As this market's moving lower, look at your internals. Here's your S&P advanced decline line. Look what's going on. You got positive divergence in there. As this market's pushing lower, you got the S&P putting in positive bullish divergence. NYSE tick was putting in bullish divergence. Okay, positive divergence. Okay, look at what's going on in the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ at this point, right in here, was actually starting to break above. Let's see, was holding these lows. The NASDAQ had not penetrated down through those lows. Okay, so you want to see congruency across the markets when you're looking to trade that 30-minute break. Okay, and there are going to be some times you know that you use the same filter and you filter out a good trade, but more often than not, by using the NASDAQ and the internals, you're going to filter out bad trades more than good trades. You will filter out some good trades because that's just but there's always, if chances are, if you filter out a good trade, you're going to have the opportunity to get short on a pullback or long on a pullback in the E-mini S&P. Then you'll know the confirmations there, and you'll be able to get in on a pullback. But you will filter out some trades, even some good ones. But you're going to, more often than not, you're going to filter out bad trades more than good trades. And then also, right in here, one more thing. The market also pretty much yesterday, just like today, very similar. The market internals and what's going on in the NASDAQ pretty much indicated to you, hey, you might want to think twice about shorting this in here, okay, or look for a pattern if you want to short this, or look for the deeper pullback. But you might want to think twice about it because you've got positive bullish divergence, and then as this market's pulling back, you should start to see this advanced decline line weaken in here, and pretty much you shouldn't see it take out that high, but it did. As this market's pulling back in here, okay, the NYSE tick, or the advanced decline line, was pretty much taking out this high. The NYSE tick was pushing new highs. That's normal. You don't want to pay too much attention to that because sometimes that'll happen. This just wiggles around a little bit more. But the advanced decline line is very powerful in that, if it's pushing new highs and you've got a short set up at resistance, after a new low, and you get new highs in the advanced decline line, there's something going on under the hood that you need to be aware of and potentially pass up on that short or look for extra confirmation, potentially a price pattern. But in this situation, this was totally the market and the NASDAQ had pretty much indicated to you, we need to skip this trade, this short setup in here, because this normally is a textbook short. But you put in all these other factors, then you're looking to skip this. Look what's going on in the NASDAQ. As the S&P's pulled back mid to upper in here, the NASDAQ's taking out 62, and look at this. Look at the size of that bar. Okay, guys, the NASDAQ market, when it comes to that 62% golden ratio, the NASDAQ tends to hold that, and I found that if you've got a short setup in the E-mini S&P, mid to upper, back at resistance in a downtrend, and the NASDAQ is taking out 62, chances are you're going to get a failure there, and that E-mini S&P is going to take out the high of the initial range. So, and think about it this way too. If the NASDAQ had not taken out 62 and just consolidated in here at 50, 30, then and you didn't have that positive bullish divergence in the advanced decline or NYSE tick, then yeah, by all means, then you'd be looking to short this in here mid to upper. Okay, but that wasn't the case yesterday. So there's just some good information, guys. If you're not looking at it, it's something to potentially pay attention to, using those market internals to kind of filter out lower probability situations. All right, I hope that helps, and you guys have a great day today, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.